Anteriormente en Final Fantasy XVI, Clive went mano-a-mano with the incredible, Hugo Kupka. He came out on top, and the massive rockhead got dragged to Drake's Fang. Clive and Uncle Byron passed through the town of Dalamil and gained access to the road that leads to Drake's Fang. Speaking of which, let's go check in on our favorite Man of the Rock. Oh. You almost got it. Just a little more. Just a little more. Waiter! I feel kinda bad for him. Whose idea was it to give him these fake hands? Like, what good do they really do? I mean, it's kinda funny. He looks like he's walking around like he's got icky stuff on his hands.
I'll tear you limb from limb!
Peace, Hugo. The table shan't hurt you any longer.
Hugo is pissed that Clive kicked his ass, to the point that he's delusional that he could have killed him had their duel continued. Sleipnir throws in some jabs himself.
Titan would have ground him into dust!
And how would he have done that without his head?
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
You weren't strong enough, and you call yourself a dominant. Or rather, you did.
You mock me, Harbert.
He's like a newborn who still doesn't know how to use their legs.
Do you see, Hugo? You are weak.
I can't with this scene. At this point, I'm just imagining scenarios where Kupka can't do ordinary things in his everyday life. Welcome to Sleipnir's Ice Creamery.
I'd like 1 chocolate and 1 vanilla.
Here you go, my lad.
No, 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 no!
Kupka, you better have the report all finished by the end of today.
But I can't even hold a pen.
Do it, or you're fired. Do you have the report?
I'm almost finished. I just need a little more time.
That's it. Kupka, you're fired. Okay, so Sleipnir tries to get Kupka to snap out of his funk and reawaken his iconic power by absorbing the ether stored in the heart of Drake's Fang's mother crystal, just like we saw happening with Benedicta. In fact, he sort of bends the truth, using her name as motivation so Kupka gets a move on. I think the pieces are coming together. This guy seems to know a little bit too much about Kupka and Benedicta's relationship. I'm betting it was actually him and Barnabas who sent the head of Benedicta to Kupka. And he seems to be a part of testing Mythos, aka Clive, presumably to see if he's a suitable vessel. Which means these two are likely also working with Ultima. I guess we'll see soon enough. It's time to cut back to Clive and Torgal. Finally, we're on another Mother Crystal mission. When the two get to the mines, they find dead bodies everywhere, and orcs. These creatures are presumably from Ash, which is the territory that the Kingdom of Walode resides in. The Royalists probably brought them over with them. No matter, they fight like every other enemy in the game. Now's a good time to go over Titan's abilities. His iconic feat is Titanic Block. You can keep the circle button held down to mitigate damage. Or, if you time the block as an attack hits, you can counter up to 3 times by pressing the attack button. With Wind Up, you can charge a heavy fist attack that strikes and launches enemies. Raging Fists launches a flurry of attacks. You can also use this as a counter move like Rook's Gambit. Doing so will halve the cooldown time of the ability. Lastly is Upheaval, where you blast a bunch of earth around you. It has a large area of effect, making it a good move for crowd control. You could also use it in the air. Now that we have 4 icons, I can finally talk about this huge pet peeve. You can't switch out icons or abilities mid-fight. This is one of the most annoying things about the game because before you fully upgrade everything, this severely limits the way you can combine abilities and use iconic feats. For example, you might like using Phoenix, Ramuh, and Titan for their iconic feats. So you're going through the game using these 3 icons. But then bam! You unexpectedly walk into a boss fight and you're thinking, oh, I want to take advantage of Garuda's deadly embrace to do takedowns. You can't do that because the game locks you out of changing icons. Like, why? Is there any good reason? I can enter the same fight using Garuda if I had only equipped her beforehand. It makes no sense to limit the combat system this way. It's not like it'll break the game, especially if you just make it so that if you change abilities mid-fight, you just have to wait for them to cool down. It's frustrating because the game doesn't allow you to adapt to different situations. For example, you may favor using a build that's focused on counters and high stagger damage for mob enemies and formidable foes. But for bosses, you might prefer a build with high damage output. However, because the game sort of revolves around the stagger system, when you stagger a boss, you're stuck with a bunch of abilities that do high stagger damage and the same one combo that does barely any damage. At the very least, I wish the game allowed us to switch between two builds if it's so keen on restricting players. I'm Mythos, goddammit! I thought I was special! It's an oddly arbitrary restriction that goes against the philosophy of expression through combat. Okay, rant over. Let's catch up to Kupka. So eventually, we get in viewing distance of the heart of the crystal. Damn! Kupka straight up built his crib around the heart. And he did not spare any expense. I might just be hungry, but these crystals look like french fries. Yummy! Sleipnir is observing us from a distance and wants to test us a little. A huge monster warps in, and we face off against it. We undertake its ass, and a bridge drops down, as if to say that we've passed. We accept the invitation and walk in. Sleipnir seems very impressed.
Wow!
It's a short walk through the castle before we get to Hugo's room.
You've been busy, Kupka.
You have no idea. Clive takes notice of the heart, the granddaddy of all french fries. He hurries to the sanctuary where he finds our rockhead. Hey, you guys open?
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large.
Benedicta, my everything.
Hey, you listening? Hello? The hell is wrong with him? What? She's here?
What's wrong with him?
Okay, so he has gone crazy. Or perhaps it's Ultima's doing. Why is she naked though? Yeah, this has that purse-lipped creep's signature written all over it.
Benedicta!
Yummy! Seeing his beloved Benedicta intimate with Clive pisses off Hugo. He starts to absorb a ton of ether and begins to prime into Titan. Clive tries to stop him, but is too weak. He needs the power of an icon. To make matters worse, his headache comes back. He's able to refocus and looks within himself to bring forth the power of Ifrit. Finally, he's successful and primes into Ifrit on command. We see Ultima in the distance, confirming that he's behind the events that unfolded here. Clive quickly goes for Kupka, but it's too late. He's launched far from the heart and is followed closely by a fully primed Kupka. Yes! Another icon fight. Our battle will be legendary. Man, he looks awesome! Much like the Typhon fight, we get a chance to fight with Ifrit's moveset. Only this time, I'd say Titan is more straightforward. After fighting him for a bit, Titan will stand back and start throwing a bunch of rocks at us. We'll have to blast them asteroid style. At this point, Clive learns a new move as well, Brimstone. He's quite the adapter. Like many of Titan's moves, it can be charged for more damage. Oh! Come on, Clive! Kick his ass! What? He can just do that? This fighting is getting the two nowhere. Titan gets an idea after seeing a nice chunk of crystal next to him. He reaches over, and the madman actually starts downing it like a piece of candy. The extra ether within it imbues him with tremendous energy, and, well... This launches us into Titan's Lost phase. First, we have to reach him while shooting down falling projectiles and avoiding rubble sticking up from the ground. The soundtrack here is, interesting. Honestly, it's more jarring than the Typhon music. It's not bad, though. Eventually, we'll have to start dealing with his rock tentacles. This really gives you a sense of scale between Ifrit and Titan Lost. It's kind of fun watching nimble little Clive zipping around all over the place, giving it his all. Eventually, we get to engage Titan Lost directly. It's probably the least engaging part of the fight because he's so slow, and because he takes so much damage. To be honest, fighting as a free tier isn't as engaging because his moveset is a lot more basic than Clive's, especially without all the other icons. Unlike the Typhon fight, where you need to get a handle of mobility and be on top of your reflexes, here you're limited to such a small arena that all you really have to do is dodge. Then you literally just mash the attack button and use that new blast move that you just learned as often as you can. It's somewhat mindless. Hell, even in the Garuda fight, you had to be more mindful of choosing when to approach, dodge, or attack. I sort of wish they focused more on the spectacle of this fight. What they ended up doing is fairly rudimentary from a gameplay perspective. I mean, come on. Shooting projectiles and avoiding objects, followed by slow-ass combat? That's all you could think of when pitting us against a literal mountain monster? It sort of deflates the whole scenario since we take him out with such ease. If the section was a bit more complex and hectic, I think I wouldn't mind as much. At the very least, it would have been nice to introduce some variations in the combat against Titan Lost. Maybe make us target weak points on his body to focus fire on, then finish it off with a blast from our new move. Just something different than the other Icon fights. It's sort of just more of the same, and this fight is long. Not an awful fight, but it was a bit disappointing for me, especially on a revisit because I started to notice the weak points of the fight after the initial hype wore off. Well, at some point in the fight, we get a hold of one of his tentacle ends. We have to shoot incoming projectiles while getting closer to Titan Lost. Once we're in range, Clive launches it like a spear straight into Titan. Phew! Finally, we beat this motherfucker. What the hell? He's still alive? Okay, for one last time, we have to fight Titan in a floaty aerial battle. It's really just more of the same. Dodge, attack, rinse, and repeat. But I like this presentation a lot more. The music is more fitting to the game's theme, and the restrained movement is closer to the Garuda fight and execution. I also like the concept of two icons duking it out while falling through a mountain. It's a lot more memorable than going against Mount Kupka anyways.
My asshole burns.
After an arduously long duel, Clive is literally pinned against the wall by Titan. As he's getting ground to dust, he notices ether flowing from the mother crystal. He remembers that Titan absorbed it to get stronger, so Clive tries it for himself. By charging himself with the ether, he creates himself a pair of boxing gloves capable of withstanding Titan's fists. Finally, the fight is over. Jesus, it took so long. But there's still one order of business. One more Mother Crystal down. Ooh, yikes. He's not getting back up. Clive's not in the clear yet. He gets hit with another massive headache and is visited by no other than Ultima. He tries to get Clive to submit, saying he was created with the purpose of being used, but it's human will that stops Clive from being a perfect little vessel. Ultima approaches Clive with the intent to take him, but suddenly we hear Joshua's voice helping Clive to snap out of it.
Fight it, Clive! Don't let him in!
Ultima goes on about needing to sever the human consciousness to make Clive tameable.
Consciousness.
Thus, he retreats for now as he thinks of a plan. He spits us out of his dark world. Clive is holding on to his phoenix feather and thanks Joshua. Sleipnir has been enjoying the show from a distance.
I had thought Hugo wiser than this, but it seems his head was full of rocks after all.
If Sleipnir was an icon, his iconic feat would be called Boom, Roasted. It looks like we have a guest. It's Barnabas himself.
Oh, that the death of a mother crystal should be so beautiful.
Wow, he's right. We cut back to the SANBREQUE front lines. Hey, it's the little girl.
I have salves, potions, anything you need.
Stop bothering me, urchin, or you'll feel the back of my hand.
Just buy something from the poor lass. My heart. Dion is getting tended to by his second-in-command, Terrence, and he gives Dion a little pushback on using Bahamut.
I beg you to call on Bahamut only as a last resort. His strength comes at too great a cost.
To which Dion responds,
Bahamut is the champion of the Empire. When our people look to the heavens, the sight of him gives them hope.
he's so selfless. What? Whoa! Oh, we getting a Bill and Frank kind of romance going on now. Oh, wait! I'm gonna be honest, this is the last thing I expected from this game. After sharing a tender moment, Dion discusses the situation.
Yahtzee!
There are many people living in the capital of Twinside. If he were to transform, thousands of lives would be in danger. He would prefer to not fight in the capital to avoid the situation. As Terrence and Dion are talking, a soldier comes in with a message from Sylvester.
Olivier has been made emperor.
What the Shiva? Phew, Dion is pissed.
I must go to the palace.
I'll ready your steed.
But before Terrence can leave, we get a surprise appearance.
What is it now? What is it all?
Would you Joshua?
Forgive the intrusion, Your Highness.
I know you. We stand in the presence of the Phoenix.
I hope I'm not interrupting.
What is it all?
Not at all, though I admit I did not expect such a distinguished guest.
How many years has it been since the Remembrance ceremony? 20?
I thought you long dead. Do I address a ghost?
Many have told me that I look like one. But no, I'm alive. Prince Dion of the House Lesage. I have a tale to tell you.
Gah, the interaction between these two is my favorite in the game. Two princes reconnecting after having met each other years ago. I love how you can feel the unspoken respect towards one another. Although both characters have their own memorable traits, it's that sense of reserved royalty that each exudes that I really love about them. After single-handedly killing an icon and getting rid of a mother crystal, Clive returns home. And he tells everyone the good news. Finally, everyone who lost their lives at the old hideaway have been avenged. Clive is anxious to hear about any new royalist movements, so he hurries along to Vivian. He catches up with her and shares that he saw orcs at the FANG, creatures that are originally from Ash. He wonders why the royalists would bring orcs in and let Drake's Fang fall if both nations are allies. Why would they even bother saving Kupka in the first place? Cue another history lesson from Vivian. She goes over Waloed this time. Barnabas used to be on the front lines of the fiercest battles, but lately he hasn't shown up on the battlefield. While the Dhalmekian Republic and SANBREQUE are fighting each other at Twinside, Walode is quietly staying put even as the Blight ravages their land. They seem to have no interest in laying conquest to the Mother Crystals. So what was the point of sending in Orcs into the FANG if they weren't even trying to claim it for themselves? She says all this to say she has no idea why the Royalists betrayed Kupka. Very helpful, quite the insight! Well, anyways, Uncle Byron is apparently going to keep track of the Royalists' movements, so hopefully we can count on him to bring us some good news. Vivian suggests we go share the news of Kupka's death, so we go speak to Tomes, Karen, and Blackthorn. When we talk with Tomes, Clive asks if he's found anything on Ultima, to which Tomes says, nah. Ultima appears to be quite good at keeping his presence unknown, and only revealing himself to those that he wants to. Well, after playing Messenger, we go back to Otto. He suggests we visit the old hideaway and tell our old friends, like Sid, the good news. Otto also suggests we take Mid with us to visit her old man's grave. So now we gotta go talk with Mid to see about making a little trip. When we bring this up, she says she's too busy because she's working on something. And now we enter the worst section of the game. Like, just absolutely terrible. Mid is working on a ship. She and Sid worked on it together before he passed on. But it's not an ordinary ship, it's the Enterprise!
The Enterprise.
Which means she's putting her university degree to good use.
Is there anything I can do to help?
Shut it! Shut your mouth, Clive!
Good old Clive. I was hoping you'd say that.
What?
God damn it, man! This kickstarts a chain of fetch quests! Oh my god, you don't even know how much I despise this section. We just finished taking down a Mother Crystal, and now we have to run errands for a college student. What the hell is wrong with the pacing of this game? Who thought this would be the next logical step in the story? First, we need to go talk to Blackthorn and hand him some blueprints. He says he'll need a special material called Stardust, and we can only get it in the Velkroy Desert. So, interestingly, the game gives us a choice to make. Do we take Gav to come help us, or Otto? It doesn't really matter who you pick, as the task will remain the same. But there's a cutscene once you complete it that will be unique depending on who you pick. This time I picked Gav, so he and I head out to the desert. There's really not much to it. We meet up with him, then scour the area for points where we can gather the Stardust. Honestly, this feels like a quest the developers added just to give us an excuse to spend more time in the desert. But it's such a dull and dumb activity that I hate it! Once we gather enough, we meet up back with Gav. Before we leave though, he wants to have a man-to-man conversation.
Feels like ages since we had the chance to talk. You know, man-to-man like. Back when you first took Sid's name, we were talking all the time.
Aww, Gav misses hanging out with Clive. Aww. It's a nice little personal moment between the two, but honestly feels kinda tacked on. Almost like the developers knew the quest itself was lame, so they added this bit of dialogue to give it a little more meaning. But I don't know why they couldn't have just written a different scenario that, 1, didn't halt the momentum of the main story, and 2, extended beyond a conversation that's basically just, hey bro, I miss hanging out, thanks for being there for me. With how this was executed, it'd be better off as a side quest that gives us a better look into Clive and Gav's relationship. I also don't like that you have to choose between Gav and Otto. I don't want to replay a 35+ hour game for an extra minute and a half cutscene that adds barely anything to a side character. It's a bit of an odd decision to present us with a choice here, given that there isn't much side content for either of these characters as is. I mean, the game has enough time for a guy who can't pick his grapes for wine. It would have been better to dedicate one of those types of side quests for more important characters like Gav or Otto. Anyways, we bring the Stardust for Blackthorn and start the next fetch quest. There's a material Mid needs to shield her engines, which happens to be pieces of fallen ruins. They're water and rust proof, can cook you dinner, do your taxes, walk your dog, and even fill the gaping hole in your heart left by your ex. The only issue is that the area where we can gather this magical do-it-all material is inhabited by a fierce monster, so she needs us to get rid of it. Once we slay it, Mid's team is able to access the material and take it back to the hideaway. 2 down, 1 more to go. So we go back to Mid, and this last piece is apparently a bit of a thinker. She's not sure how to solve one of the issues with building the part. It needs to be able to take a lot of heat and remain cool. So, Clive suggests she go talk to Hippocrates.
Well, if I were in need of obscure knowledge, I know whose counsel I would seek.
Tomes? Yeah, well, I'd thought of that, obviously. I've got all the details written down here. Can you take this to him?
Right away.
Why can't you do this yourself, you annoying girl? Okay, so we visit Tomes, and he tells us he's got an idea. He'll need some help though, so we call Jill and Tarja over. At this point, we get another choice between who we want to work with. One person will come with us to find the ingredients we need, and the other will work with Tomes and figure out a good way to use the ingredients. We get hardly any time with Tarja, so I'm gonna go with her. We need to pick up things like garlic, conch shells, and Peppio Nuts. So we meet her over in the Northreach Market where we can find these items. I didn't really notice before, but Tarja is such a babe. Her voice has got such a sexy timbre.
Ah, and there you are. We shouldn't have any problems finding what we need in a place like this.
She's a side character I wish we saw much more of. Like many of the other characters, she's underutilized not only in the main story, but with side content. Instead, we get to spend time with Mid running around gathering items. Well, we gather everything, but before heading out, she wants to have a word.
Do you know, I think this is the very first time we've been out on an errand together.
I think you might be right.
In all the years since you and that scowl of yours first appeared, you haven't invited me out once. For shame.
I'm kind of with Jill. They just spent some time recounting the last 5 years, and Clive thanks Tarja for all the things she's done for the hideaway. Now, in my first playthrough, I actually went with Jill, and the scene is pretty different, so I want to show that off. If we go with Jill, the tasks and even the items we collect are still the same. Afterwards though, Jill wants to spend a little more time with Clive. As they speak, they recount the days of their youth, going through the marts in Rosalith.
Do you remember walking down Market Street in Rosalith, taking in the sights and smells?
How could I forget? What with Torgal's antics. Remember how his nose would prick up at the scent of sausages? He'd go racing away and we'd have to go running after him. We wouldn't catch you now, would we, boy?
It's a much more impactful scene as you can see the two really enjoying themselves.
And I saw some bread. Big white cobs like the baker back in Rosalith used to make. What do you think? I thought we might get some soup to dip it in. But then I tried a slice of the butcher's dry-cured ham and it was just... Oh.
You all right?
Sorry. It's just... you're right. I really do feel like a child again being here with you.
Jill also brings up an interesting internal conflict. During this time of war and strife, she experiences a sense of peace and is enjoying herself. But she feels guilty because of all the pain spreading through Valisthea. It's an important feeling though, as it's a taste of the world the two are striving to create. This scene is powerful because it makes their vision feel more real. And it's just nice to see the two having fun for once. After they wrap up, we head back to the hideaway to report to Hippocrates. He'll start working on the shielding immediately. We go see Mid to let her know we're done. After all this running around, she finally has everything she needs to put it all together. So we bring Blackthorn into the mix to have him build it, and voila, a mithril engine. Thank Grieger, we're finally done. She says,
That's 1 down and just 3 more to go.
But thankfully, she's going to wheel this finished engine away to Canberra to get the other 3 built there. It's their problem now. She also says she'll come with us to visit Sid's grave, but that she's got one more loose end to tie up. So Clive tells her to meet them in the mess hall when she's finished. Well, okay then, let's go tell Otto. He's grumbling about Mid using anything as an excuse not to visit Sid's grave. Hold on a sec, Otto. Mid's joining us.
She said there was one final thing she had to take care of.
She said that? In those words?
She did, yes.
Clive, were you born yesterday or something? There is no thing.
Damn it, we got duped. Clive rushes out to see if he can catch up with her. He spots the ferryman, Obelisk, and asks him if he's seen Mid.
Yep, in a boat.
Of course. Dang it, Mid. While we're here, Obelisk gives us a letter from Uncle Byron. My dear boy, my journey to Canvar has been a resounding success. The friend I mentioned not only agreed to share the contents of his strongbox with us, but his considerable knowledge of the goings-on in the Free Cities, by which I learned of the endeavors of a certain young friend of yours. Though I, for one, believe Miss Telemon's project to be quite the valiant enterprise, I doubt the Canvarian authorities will take kindly to the unauthorized use of their dockyards, no matter how deserted. And if rumor has already reached my friend, it may not be long before the guild masters are rapping at our door. Which is why I pen you this note. I would like to borrow your man Gav for a moon or two, that he might keep a watch on those who might mean our little fellowship ill. I trust that you will give this proposal your full consideration. Your loving uncle. I suppose we should talk to Gav.
So what? Mid got us to do all the dirty work and then just sailed off into the sunset?
Yup.
The next time you plan on visiting Sid, you might want to tie her to something before you suggest it.
Don't be so hard on her. Gotta admit, the dirty work was kind of fun. Everyone pitching in, all that bollocks.
Really, Gav? Really? If you want to play with sand so much, why don't you just go back to the desert? Oh wait, that's right, you are!
During a sandstorm.
Unbelievable. Our two bros get ready to head out to visit Sid, and Gav tells us that Jill will be joining us there as well. Let's go see the old man. Wow, it's been a minute. This is all that's left of the old hideaway. I guess this is where Sid is buried.
May we join you?
Ah, Jill. Oh, and we have some other visitors. The gang here pay their respects. Karen comments on how bad the blight has gotten. Agreeing, Clive reiterates their mission to take out all the mother crystals to stop the drainage of life throughout Valisthea. He also points out their next target.
The only one that remains in Storm is Drake's tail in the Crystalline Dominion.
Twinside, being under SANBREQUE's control, is going to have some tight security, so getting in will be a bit of a challenge. Karen chimes in with a plan.
If you're off to the Dominion, you can take this great lump with you.
Good.
Have you forgotten you're the most wanted man in the Twins? I thought you might like to disguise yourselves as the attendants of a travelling trader. Assuming you've no better ideas. You wanted to buy yourself some tools, didn't you? Well, now's your chance.
You're letting me go with them? Oh, thanks, man!
Stop that! You'll break me bones, you great galoot!
Oh my gosh, Goats! Can you shut up for 1 second?
Shut up!
I can't hear a thing! Okay, so to reiterate, because this large doofus was being so loud, there's an area between Twinside and Boklad that's run by a caravan of merchants. You need a trader's pass to travel through this region to go in and out of the city. So we can go in with Goots, since he's got a pass.
And I'll meet yous there. See yous down in Boklad!
Get off! Me poor fingers!
He is quite the handful. Everyone's business is set, so they all split up. Karen reveals that she's more fond of Clive than she lets on.
Your protege's making a proper little outlaw of himself.
So, it's back to the Dzemekys Republic. This time, we travel through the eastern part of the desert. A side quest. Skip!
I see the Dalmex lag behind Rosaria when it comes to bridge building.
Ooh, shots fired. Skip? God, I love the chocobo. The two take a moment to take in the sights. Wow, nice puddle. There's a bit of interesting lore here that the two lovebirds hark back to.
So this is Dzemekys.
The land of the gods.
Long, long ago, man was overcome by avarice, challenged the gods in a bid to win their power. The final battle took place here, or so the legend goes.
If this tale is to be believed, the gods were victorious and laid upon humanity two curses: dominance and bearers. This was a nice little break. Let's continue on to Boklad. But before we do, we cut back to the house of Lesage to take a peek into their family drama.
I see the reports are true, Father. You have surrendered the throne to Olivier.
I have.
How is he to rule an empire? He is but a boy.
I shall advise him until he comes of age.
Father, please.
Yeah, I'm with Dion. He got shafted. Sylvester continues saying the empire we seek to build needs young blood to rule it, hence his choice landing on Olivier. He then brings up the recent downfall of Drake's Fang and how this bodes well for SANBREQUE's goal for total domination of Valisthea. Dion calls his father out, saying he's talking like a tyrant, but Sylvester thinks otherwise.
Father, these are the words of a tyrant.
They are the words of a god. The emperor whom I great Greeker made flesh.
Okay, that Anabusi cannot have been that good. You're really giving your whole empire to this little boy because you guys eloped? He doesn't even seem interested.
Father, I find you much changed. Is this truly the path you wish to tread? Or are these the ambitions of another? Of Ultima, perhaps?
I speak my mind, though I do owe Annabella thanks for reminding me of certain truths.
You trust the words of this traitress? She betrayed her country. She slew her husband.
Tell him, Dion.
I trust you will continue to serve your emperor in the wars to come.
The canker! Silence! Insolent wretch!
Dion, if you do not end this guy right now where he stands, I swear I will.
Silence! This audience is over. Come, your radiance. The Rowena Syndicate awaits your pleasure.
Oh, not another meeting with silly old men.
Oh, so the pretty doll can speak.
I'm hungry, Father. Can't we have luncheon instead?
Nothing of interest, though.
Count your blessings, Dion. For a base-born child to be chosen by Bahamut is miracle enough. You have risen high on his wings, but you shall rise no higher, lest your impure blood stain the throne.
Again, with the pure bloodline.
What do you know of my blood?
Things are a bit spicy in Twinside, so let's cool things down with our main duo. Clive and Jill finally make it to Boklad, the trading town. Security is tight, as expected. No one goes in without a pass, so the two meet up with Goots. But there's a problem.
It's me trader's pass. It's gone. We cannot ride the caravan without it. We won't even be able to get through the flipping checkpoint.
God damn it, Goots. Do you know what this means? Okay, so the large oaf got his pass nicked by some kid. He's got a friend in Boklad that runs the Crimson Caravan that might know what's happening. So we pay her a visit.
Looking to hire a coach? It's 10 million for a two-birder to the Crystalline Dominion. Take it or leave it.
Oh, we're not here for that.
Then I bid you good day.
Does everyone who help us have to be some cheeky or stingy ass person? Goots confesses that he got his trader's pass stolen by a kid. Eloise tells us she thinks she knows why they did it. Basically, trader's passes are in high demand as they're a necessity to cross into Twinside, which means there's someone who is behind stealing the passes, selling them to others, and doctoring their name so they can use it. The person or group behind this must be using the children to steal the passes from merchants. Obviously, this is not good for honest merchants trying to make their living in the area, so Eloise asks if we'll help. I love Clive's response.
Will you stand with us?
Is there any other way of getting to the Crystalline Dominion, Goots?
It could not be more clear that he just doesn't care.
It's that, I don't know, try swimming across the strait. The guards will definitely spot you if you try and do that, like, we don't want to get spotted.
Okay, Goots, that'll do. Without a choice, Clive agrees to help. So she tells us to talk to this guy, who tells us to talk to this woman, who tells us we should talk to the children around here to find things out.
All right then. Questioning children. How hard can that be?
The answer is not hard at all. The question should be, why do I have to question children to get to the next part of the freaking game? We have to talk to 3 children before finding out this girl's friend, Hansa, recently got a new job doing something dangerous. So now we go look for him. Why Goots can't just have his pass and us go through the gates is beyond me. I guess because the story in Boklad is just so good. Well, we find him and overhear him talking about stealing Goots' pass.
Wish we hadn't handed over the pass, though. Could use one of those things to get out of this dump.
The moment they found out, they'd string us up by our guts.
Would they now? Perhaps you'd like to introduce us to these charming characters.
Not wanting to get caught, Hansa sonics the frick out of here. Clive, you wanna catch him? The hell is wrong with you? So now we gotta catch up to Hansa again. We ask this guy if he's seen a boy, and he points us right around the corner. Well, we got him for good this time and ask him who he's working for. He tells us the people he works for calls themselves the Cast Stones. While we're trying to figure out where to find the Cast Stones, someone steps in and interrupts.
Cowards, you will not force another child to do your bidding.
Wait, we're not...
Hey man, chill. I'm not here to throw hands.
We're on the same side.
Like hell we are.
Master Theo?
Goots, what are you doing with these people? Unless... You're the ones my sister was talking about.
Shoulda asked questions first. This fiery dust devil is Theo. He's Eloise's brother and a little short on people skills. He's also not all that helpful.
What's the plan?
We find the Cast Stones and we crush them.
Okay, we were already doing that before you rudely interrupted. We ask Hansa where they are, and he says he doesn't know because they just meet him in the town to collect the passes. Hansa did, however, see that they were heading towards Lately's Clef, which is essentially back the way we came through. And this is, again, where I have an issue with the way the game handles quests. Before speaking to Theo, if you come to this area, it's empty. But as soon as you talk to him and trigger the next step and come to this area, you can see they've set up camp. You're telling me these guys move this quickly? Hansa already saw them heading back to the cleft right before we talked to Theo. It's such a small thing, but it's a major gripe I have with the game as it makes the world feel so video gamey. I call it out because the game goes to such lengths to describe all the details and lore and story between characters and nations through things like the Active Time lore, tomes, or Vivian. But basic story progression is set on a trigger like some old PS1 game. Well, we find the Cast Stones and big whoop. We wait for Theo to account for all the stolen goods back at the Crimson Caravan. Theo shows up and gives us Goots' pass. Finally, we can move on to Twinside. The pair meet up with Goots and Hansa.
Try not to lose it again.
Me pass! You found it!
What the heck? Did the developers forget to animate his lips? Well, anyways, we're pretty much ready, but one thing. Goots says that they should meet at the bell tower in the middle of the city if things go awry.
Now let's get the frick out of here.
Next stop, Twinside. And let me tell you right now, it gets crazy. So join me next time as we continue through the story of Final Fantasy XVI. I'll catch you on the next Ghost Yawn video. Bye.